This is how we do it. This is how we do it. Sha-la-la-la-la-la. I love it. Some Montel Jordan back in the 90s. I'm a 90s girl. I'm just saying. And I'm going to be sore. I'm going to be really sore tomorrow. I did the scout class last night and it felt good because I haven't done it in a month. Not because I didn't want to do it, but because there was rain or something, because it's an outdoor class. And so I am feeling really good today. I'm feeling energetic. And it's so important for us to remember to take care of our bodies. And that's not just mentally, but also physically. And it just felt good to use the muscles that I haven't used in a while. And you sleep better. You have more clarity of the mind. Yes, my legs are going to hurt tomorrow, but it's all part of it. And that actually is a little bit kind of what we're going to be talking about today. We'll make that connection here. And it is Memorial Day week. And in honor of the veterans that fought for this country, regardless of what country you're in, you can appreciate that there are people out there that are fighting for a purpose. And for Memorial Day, they were fighting for freedom. They were fighting for this country. And so we owe the freedom in the United States to all the men and women that get up every single day. And there are those that lost their lives. And really this week is for those that lost in honor of us to enjoy the freedom. So we talked about what it is that they're passionate about, and they're passionate about the country. And so we talked about, how does that look like in your own life? What are you getting up every day fighting for? What is that why? And the truth is, today I want to talk about fear and challenges and how we overcome them. Because the truth is, and I've said this before, and I'm going to say it over and over and over. So let's just get used to it, because I want it to be stuck in your brain. The brain is a goal-achieving machine, and whatever you set your mind to is what your brain goes towards. And so in our minds, we may say, okay, I want to work on, or I want to accomplish, or I'm going to set out to do, or this is what I want. And then what happens when there's a bump in the road? Some of us actually don't even get started that far because it's all the unknown. What happens when we get the bump in the road, or I've never done this before, or we get paralyzed, or we start to deal with imposter syndrome. Like, can I actually do this? Am I qualified? Should they have made me a boss? Because I have never had management skills before, and I just don't have any idea. I know that I really wanted this. I set out to do it, but can I actually do it? And we start to have that self-doubt, and we start talking ourselves out of whatever we were going for. Maybe you weren't even going for something. It just kind of landed and it started to snowball. And then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, what am I doing here? And you start to retract. And it's because our brain, the goal achieving machine, is starting to say, whoa, I don't know how to handle this. I've never been through this. So if you just go back to your little safe spot, I know how to handle that. Where you wake up at this time in the morning, and then this is your job, and you have to leave at this time because that's when there's less traffic on the road. And then you go to your job and you take your lunch break at noon, and you get back in the office by 1, and then you're out by 5. That's how life works. And because it is predictable. And you know what? For some people, that's okay. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But if you have that itch to do something different, to take whatever you're doing to the next level, then it's going to come with some discomfort. It's going to come with some situations that your brain goes, oh my gosh, I don't know where we're at. What do we do? And so your brain wants to keep you safe. You should actually celebrate when it's like, warning, warning. Say, thank you, brain. This sounds a little woo-woo, but yeah, just appreciate it for wanting to keep you safe, because that's what it's doing. It's like, hold on, I don't know what's on the other side of this. So I'm going to need you to go back to what's familiar, and then everything will be fine. But what's the truth is, if nothing changes in your life, then nothing changes. Change doesn't happen by chance. You have to want it. And they say that what's on the other side of fear, that everything you want is on the other side of fear. Think about it. Yeah, there's some things out there that you're like, I don't know. But the only way to start that business, the only way to get that promotion, the only way to start that family, to go after a relationship, to whatever, is to allow yourself to be vulnerable and go after it. Brene Brown has a beautiful, we're not going to talk about vulnerability today, but Brene Brown has an amazing TED Talk. She is the queen of vulnerability. So I absolutely adore her. She is one of the women that I look up to in the space of personal development. And so I'd encourage you to go take a look at her as well. But everything we want is on the other side of fear. So how do we tackle it? Okay, so that's what we're going to focus on today because we're all going to face some kind of fear. So we have two decisions. We either revert back and we say, I want what's comfortable, or we continue to pursue our dreams. And we talked about on Monday really connecting with your why, and that's going to drive a lot of this. When you can start to visualize the impact that you want to make in this world, when you visualize the family that you want to create, when you envision what the future is, what you want it to look like, that's going to help propel you forward. But the truth is you are going to run across things that are unfamiliar to you. And how is it that we handle those situations? So first and foremost, we talked about failure a few weeks ago. And I'm going to talk about this over and over and over. Why? Because it is so important. So the brain is a goal achieving machine. It is out there it will look for justifications and validations of whatever you set it to. So remember we talked about yesterday, oh, my husband's amazing. He does all these things. And then maybe things in your relationship get rocky and you're like, he's such a jerk. And then you find all the reasons why your husband's such a jerk. It's because whatever you set your mind to, yeah, it's achieving. So it's the same kind of thing. So yes, the brain's a goal achieving machine, and this word failure doesn't have to exist. It's something that you created so you can take it away. All of these things are things that we created. Any amount of suffering, it all comes in the mind. And we'll get deeper into that as we get into the show. So you got to stay tuned. By the way, make sure you subscribe, because I want to join you. I want you to join me. I want to join you every single morning. So make sure you subscribe. This word failure is something so every single one of us can relate to, where it's like, I failed at something. It didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, and I failed. But we talked about a few weeks ago, go back and listen. It was on a Wednesday. I can't remember which one it was, but it was a Wednesday, maybe 2 weeks ago, where we said it is one of two things, but with the same outcome. So we can remove failure from our vocabulary and say, that was a lessons learned. It was a lesson learned. Or it was a course correction. I was going down a path and I shouldn't have been on that path. I needed to actually be over here. And my higher power knew. So my higher power just sidestepped me over here. Thank you, higher power, for course correcting me, because I don't know what the heck I was doing over here, but maybe that's why it wasn't working out in the first place. See? But either way, whether it's a lesson learned, and it could be or a course correction, there's growth. There's growth in your life that is going to come out of that. But we have to acknowledge that everything is going to be okay. It's going to be okay. As you face these fears, if things aren't turning out the way that you anticipate them, remember, we took away that word failure. It doesn't exist. You are going to be okay. The only thing I can think of that would be scary, two things: not waking up today and being on my deathbed and saying, I wish I had. That is what scares me. That scares me more than going out and trying something. I have no problem going out and something not working out the way that I want it to. I just course correct. It's fine. Or I try something different. I'm like, that didn't work. Go to the next thing. I don't take it personally. It took me time though, ladies. This isn't like, oh, look at me. Like, these are all things that I learned. I come to you very humbly on this show talking about really all the things that I've learned in my journey. So as I am today, it's try something. So what if it doesn't work? I look at my niece. and my niece is going to be 2 in August. And I went up to Chicago where they live, and this was a few months ago, and my niece was going down the slide. And, most kids are like, you sit on your bum and you go down the slide. Well, not my niece. My niece going on my stomach, like, whoop. Like she was just fearless, fearless. And sometimes she was going on her back or on her side. Like she was just doing all kinds of crazy things. And you're like, what? She was just fearless. She's like, so what? I'm having a good time. And that's what we need to be doing in our life, is just having a good time, not focusing on the what ifs and oh my gosh, if this doesn't work out, and what about this, and starting to question ourselves. Let's just get on that slide, go face forward and say, hey, you know what? I had fun doing it, even if it doesn't work out the way that I thought it was. And you know what? If you go face first and you face plant, well, then, maybe don't do that again. It's okay. But you enjoyed it while you were thinking about it. And my niece would have learned that, hey, had she gone down face first and face planted, that it didn't work out, and she wouldn't have done it again. Hopefully. At some point, I would like to think my niece is smart enough and she would learn. That's all it is. How would she know, though, if she never tried it? We need to be like these children and just realize it's going to be okay. But for me, what's more scarier than facing these things, again, not waking up or being on my deathbed and wishing I had done something about it. To me, that's true fear. So what's the worst that can happen? Anything has to be better than those two. Because some people didn't wake up today. Some people didn't make it home from work. So yeah, whatever you were going after, if it doesn't work, it's better than that. Come up with a plan. Ladies, let's come up with plans. Let's methodically go through. This is my goal. In order to get my goal, I need to do these things. And I don't know about you, but I'm a big list person. Write it down. I want to see it. Because if I'm left to my head and I'm just like, these are all the things that I'm doing, I can get lost. I'm not a linear person. I don't do one thing, complete it, do the next, complete it, do the next. I'm a person that has 25 browsers open on her, or 25 tabs open on her browser, right? And I'm looking at all of them. And I have multiple screens going and all the things. And sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, Jen, can you just focus a little bit? But that's just how I am. It's how I am. And so for me, having a list, something that I can scratch off, that keeps me focused. And there's a sense of gratification. So don't feel that you have to go out there and just remember it all. I started using a calendar a long time ago. And the reason why is because if it's not written down, I'm not doing it. I don't have the capacity in my brain to remember all this stuff. And I think some of it's just getting older. And I've been having a lot of these I'm getting older moments. I'm almost 40. And that's not old. I'm not saying it's old, but what I'm saying is that there are things that, when you go up to the pantry and you're like, why am I here? Or you walk in the bathroom and you're like, I came in here to do something. Yeah, I have a lot of those moments. And it's probably because I got so much in here. And so it's better for me to write it down. So ladies, let's come up with a plan that makes it a lot less fearful. Like, what's next? You can actually see it. And if there's something you need to insert, you're like, oh, I didn't think about that. Then insert it and then keep going. Insert, keep going. Yeah. Ask somebody. You are probably not the first that's gone through something in your capacity. Now, you may have a brand new thing that you're trying to do. You've patented a product and you're getting it out on the market and nobody's done that exact thing before. Okay, valid. But I guarantee somebody has patented something before. I guarantee somebody has worked with a vendor to, create that. They've done the testing. They've had to get it on Amazon so they could sell it, or Etsy, or whatever it is. So you may be unique in whatever you're doing, but somebody has already trailblazed ahead of you. So do your research, contact these people. We want to help others. The reason I've become so vocal with my story and the reason I'm here today is because we want to help other people. I don't believe that my story was given for me only. And by my story, I mean the story of overcoming addiction and just all the things that I've dealt with. Even being a woman in a man's space, being underpaid and having a glass ceiling and all of these things that I dealt with. I don't believe that that was for me to go, wow, that sucked. And for me to just dust it off and move on. I believe that this was intended for me to help others. And so not only did I grow through these lessons, but I am now strengthened to a point where I can go and talk to others. I can help others. I can support others. There are so many of us out there that are willing to help. I look at the recovery community and it blows my mind when I hear about these women or men, and they're like, wow, I didn't know that all of this existed. The recovery community is huge. But all you have to do is just open your eyes and start looking around, start asking around. We can't let our pride go in front of us. It's okay for us to ask for help. Hey, how did you guys do this? How did you do that? And by the way, there's this incredible community. I'm just going to put a little plug in for this. There's this incredible entrepreneurial community. It's in 6 cities. It is about to explode. It's coming to Dallas. If you are interested, DM me because I want to get you synced up with the right information. But it's a community called Spice. It's uh supporting prosperous. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just forgot what it stands for. But anyways, it's a bunch of entrepreneurs, heart-centered entrepreneurs. So if that is you, it is those in the community that are trying to help others. And we come together and we have these dinners and we support each other and we talk about what's going on in your business. What's going on in your business? How can I be of service? What are your 90-day goals? How can I help you get there? All of these things. So there are groups that are out there supporting prosperity, impact, contribution entrepreneurs. That's what it is. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry that took me so long. That's terrible. I should remember. Anyway, so DM me if that's something that you're interested in. So ask for help, create a plan, realize that everything is going to be okay. This is how we're going to get over our fear. It's literally going to be okay. And we just have to take our pride. I'll just say this and then we're going to wrap up. But our pride can keep us from achieving our goal because we think that whatever we're about to do, if we fail, again, we don't need to fail, but if you decide that that's something that exists in your world, well, then people are going to look at me and they're going to look down on me. I don't think people have that much time to be looking down on you. In fact, I think there may be people that are like, oh, okay, well, look, they tried that one time or whatever. But there are so many more people that are going to look at you and say, wow, that person is brave. That person is courageous. That person is willing to put in the work and do the thing. And wow, I can learn from that person. So don't worry about what those few people that are going to judge you or whatever. They have their own set of problems. If somebody is worried about you and they're focused on just you, let's tear you down. Let's start rumors or gossip or whatever. Then they have their own problems. Hurt people hurt people. Let me say it again. Hurt people hurt people. So if somebody's tearing you down, they have their own set of problems. So that's it, ladies. No more fear. We're just going to face things. Fear stands for face everything and rise. Remember that. So I want you to go out there and I want you to face it head on. And you know what? You don't have to do it alone because remember, there's tons of people out there. And if you're interested in a community like Spice, contact me and I will get you plugged in. And if it's not in your city now, it's coming, because it's coming with a vengeance. It's been around for 3 years, and the goal is to get it in over 100 cities in the next year. So it is coming and it's going global. That's right. So you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to be the one just by yourself out there figuring it all out. Ask, put your pride to the side. Remember, it's going to be okay, and come up with that plan. I'm coming up. I want the world to know. Oh, yeah. Don't forget to like, to subscribe, and come back tomorrow, because tomorrow is F it. It's Friday, ladies. I'm coming up. I want the world to know. I'm gonna let it show. I'm coming up.